Hello everyone, today we will not increase McDonald's by very many times, but we will prepare a huge latte classic, potato dips, and Big Tasties. By the way, write down what is your favorite burger from McDonald's. I have it as my Big Tasty. Please like it in advance, it's going to be a very interesting video, let's go. Without the beautiful packaging, McDonald's is not McDonald's, so let's repeat the packaging, but on a huge scale. To do this, we will use this kind of corrugated cardboard. We unfold the original packaging, measure the dimensions of the boxes, multiply them, and transfer these dimensions to cardboard. Wherever necessary, we cut them out. And we bend the cardboard exactly according to the marked places. We squeeze out some hot glue and assemble the box. Now our Big Tasty box is ready. We also make a box for the fries. The plastic bucket will serve as a large coffee cup. And we make the lid out of the same cardboard. In my opinion, it turned out pretty well. We arm ourselves with paints, and first of all, we paint a plastic bucket from a spray can in yellow. And we cover our cardboard products with acrylic paints. We put the painted lid on the already yellow bucket. We paste the inscription, and it turns out very similar to the glass from McDonald's. Here is such a box that turned out for the fries, and here is what we got for the Big Tasty. By the way, we made it according to the old box design. Maybe from the outside it seems that all of this is not so difficult, but it took us 15 hours to make all these boxes. The first thing we're going to do is make the French fries. This is the same French fries, but only in a different shape. So we need a bag of potatoes. We open it up. And begin to clean it. The peeled potatoes are dumped into a basin. And the same thing a few more times. Now we're left with a full basin of peeled potatoes, but it's dirty. Therefore, we pour them into the sink and fill it with water. We wash the dirt off of each potato and remove all the eyes that we missed the first time. We put the perfectly peeled potatoes in a saucepan and fill that with water so that it completely covers the potatoes. Now we put that onto 2 burners. Our potatoes need to be boiled, but apparently we chose the wrong variety. For the potatoes to get soft, they were cooked for 7 hours. So we drain the excess water. And with the help of a potato masher, we knead the potatoes. When the masses become more or less homogeneous, we add quite a lot of salt and continue to knead. The shape of our fries is going to be very unusual, so repeat it on a large scale. We take these iron corners, pour oil onto each of them, and smear that all around with a brush. And now we take our mashed potatoes and put them into the molds. And we ram it all around with our hands. And with the help of some tube-shaped object, we make the most similar shape of the potato dippers. And we throw those into the freezer for a whole day. In the meantime, we'll make a giant coffee. For this, we need 14 liters of milk. We open the bottles and pour them into a large saucepan. We put that onto the stove. And it'll be needed to heat it up to 60 degrees. In the meantime, let's get busy with some coffee beans. They are already fried, so now we just have to grind them. Therefore, put a little bit into a coffee grinder and grind. Our already ground coffee is poured into another saucepan. Thus, we need to grind all our 800 grams of coffee beans. Fill them with 5 liters of water. Mix. And throw all that onto the stove. We pour a lot of sugar into our huge espresso. And mix it again. The milk is already hot. Therefore, we scoop it and pour it into a blender. Close and beat the hot milk really well. After this procedure, the milk will turn into a foam. We send the foam into a large glass. And so we pass all the hot milk through the blender the same way. We install a sieve on top, and the coffee is already boiling, so we remove it from the stove and pour it into the large glass. That's our giant latte that's ready. Very similar to what they sell at McDonald's. Now let's make a giant Big Tasty. It consists of the Big Tasty sauce, tomatoes, lettuce, onions, cutlets, cheese, and of course buns. We'll start with them. Pour some water into a bowl. Add some dry yeast, salt, sugar, oil, and of course flour. We knead all this together and also add the flour until the dough stops sticking to your hands. We put this onto a baking tray. We bake 1 egg into a bowl and pour in a little milk. Mix that up. And when the dough is risen, we lubricate it with this mixture. Now we sprinkle some sesame seeds on top and into the oven at 200 degrees. Looking ahead, I will say that this test was not enough. We made a double portion and baked a bun like this from it. We released it from the foil and cut it in half. It turned out to be very soft. So now let's make our hamburger. In ground beef, we add some dry garlic and 2 chili pepper and a lot of salt. Well, we mix the spices with our hands. But there is very little fat in this minced meat, and the cutlet will be 100% dry. A piece of lard will help fix all of this. We cut off the unnecessary skin and cut the frozen fat into plates. Then into cubes. And chop it up. That's it. We send the cubes of lard into the minced meat. And mix it again. Now the cutlet will be very juicy. We transfer all the minced meat to the parchment. Done. Now we're going to grill it, so therefore we kindle it. Top the cutlet with some oil and smear it around with your hand. We put the grill grate on top and turn it over. We send the cutlet on to fry. To extinguish the fire, cover it with a lid and later fry without it. We pick up the cutlet with a spatula and turn it over. On this side, fry for another 10 minutes. And it's all ready. Now let's go to the cheese. We will use some Emmental for the taste and mozzarella so that it melts well. Cut the cheese into smaller pieces. and grate. All the cheese is then thoroughly mixed together. Divide into half and pour into 2 pots. We put them on the stove and constantly stir them until we wait for the cheese to melt. We will prepare the molds now. Lubricate the plastic trays with oil. Pour out the hot cheese. And distribute it according to the shape. And just let them freeze like that. So for the Big Tasty sauce, we squeeze out a whole package of mayonnaise. Pour in some paprika, black pepper, crushed garlic. We clean it. Finally chop it. And rub with a knife all over the board. And that's awesome into the sauce. American mustard. Cut a lemon and squeeze the juice out of it. Barbecue sauce is a must. But that's not it. The most important thing left is a little liquid smoke. Stir for the last time and the Big Tasty sauce is ready. Tomatoes, iceberg lettuce, and onions are all needed from the vegetables. First, peel the onion. And cut it into half rings. This time the onion was very spicy. Got the tomatoes. Well, and now let's put our Big Tasty together. We spread a slice of cheese onto the bun, then a huge cutlet, another slice of cheese, put on the tomatoes, onion, iceberg lettuce, pour all the sauce out on top. And cover that with the top bun. At this point, a huge Big Tasty is ready. By this time, the potatoes have already been frozen. You can pull them out. You can pull off the iron corners. And in my opinion, the shape turned out really great. We put a huge saucepan on the burners. And you need a lot of oil. We open it. And make a huge deep fryer. We lower our potato dippers into the hot oil. We take them out and put them onto the paper towels. We also fry the rest. Now let's put them into the box. There we go, we've prepared our giant McDonald's menu. All this took 3 days of work. And in my opinion, it turned out pretty similar to the original. So let's try it all. Our potato dippers. Our dippers have a crust that is not as crispy as in the original. But let's try the coffee. The coffee is delicious, very similar to a Mac latte. And let's finally cut into our Big Tasty.
Hey everybody, today we received a long-awaited package, straight from Kamchatka. We open it. Inside we see bottles of ice and Kamchatka crab. It was difficult to get it because we got it whole. It weighs about 4 kilograms. Let's open her up. When folded up, it's not that big. If you straighten his little legs you can immediately see that this is a monster that was taken from the bottom of the ocean. There are many types of crabs, but there's usually not much to eat in them, and there's a lot of meat in this one. Therefore, it is considered the most expensive in the world. Our crab costs $220. It's already boiled. We need to get the meat out of it. We tear off the shell. We tear off the gills. And begin to unscrew the legs. We do this carefully because the spikes are pretty sharp. We pull out the remaining pieces of meat from the shell, and we get a whole mountain of crab legs. They need to be broken at the joints. This should be done with each of its legs. Now we take one leg, cut it lengthwise with scissors, and take out a nice, whole, real crab stick. We throw the meat into the bowl. After about 20 minutes, we got all the meat from the crab. Now, there are $220 in this bowl. In this form, we can finally eat the crab. It tastes kind of like crawfish, only twice as saturated, and the meat is juicier. Let's cook 3 completely different crab dishes. First up, crab's Benedict. We'll need pieces of crab, broken into fibers, all transferred into a bowl. We take a small green onion, cut it into circles, and put it with the crab. Put a grater on top and zest a lemon into this. Cut the lemon in half and squeeze out some juice. Olive oil and chili pepper, a little salt. Now mix it up, and our filling is ready. We put a saucepan with water on the stove. Let's salt the water, pour in 2 tablespoons of vinegar, break the egg into a cup. When the water starts to boil, we quickly stir it in a circle with a whisk to make a whirlpool. In the middle, in one movement, pour in the egg. Cook that for 20 seconds. We take this out with a slotted spoon and put it onto a paper towel. Now we're going to need 2 of those poached eggs. Now let's make a hollandaise sauce. To do this, we separate the egg yolk from the egg whites. We only need the yolk, or rather 4 yolks. We put them onto a steam bath and mix quickly. After 15 seconds, we remove it. Pour in a little vinegar and oil in a thin stream and mix. Gradually, this mass thickens. It remains to add salt and pour it into a saucepan. We put the grill pan back on the stove and fry 2 of these buns on both sides until crisp. We put the buns on a plate, put the crab meat with dressing on top of them, level it, then our poached eggs. Now pour hollandaise sauce on top. And finally, you need to sprinkle all this with paprika. Our crab Benedict is ready. We cut into the egg, and the yolk breaks as needed. Let's try it. It's fucking delicious. Crispy toast, runny yolk, hollandaise sauce, and crab. A real royal breakfast. Next up, tom yum. All right, the ingredients we need are crab, scallops, and shrimp. Coconut milk, tom yum paste, fish bouillon granules, fish sauce, oyster sauce, and cherry tomatoes. We open the bonito kanzashi, pour the granules into the pan. Pour in 2 liters of boiling water. and mix that so that the granules dissolve. This will give us a nice fish broth. Turn on the stove, bring the broth to a boil, and open the coconut milk. Although it looks more like a paste, we put all this into the pot and to mix it up. Now our soup has turned white, so add fish sauce, a tablespoon of oyster sauce, and most importantly, tom yum paste. This contains all the Thai spices we need. We throw in a couple of spoons to the soup. Mix it up. Now for the seafood. Scallops, peeled shrimp, and Kamchatka crab. Cut the cherry tomatoes in half and drop those into the soup. We'll mix this for the last time and the crab tom yum is ready. We collect it into a ladle and fill our bowl up. Finally chop the greens and sprinkle them on top. Let's taste test it. Ooh, this is one of the most intense soups I've ever eaten. Such a powerful, spicy soup with lots of seafood. For the third course, whole crab legs are needed. We cut these into pieces, which will be convenient to eat. Throw those into a bowl and top those with a couple of tablespoons of plain flour. Cover this with a flat plate and shake well. Open it up. All the pieces should be evenly covered with flour. Now let's put a frying pan on to heat. Pour in quite a lot of oil and put in our pieces to fry. Fry them on both sides to form a crispy crust. Remove the pan from the stove and drop the pieces into a deep bowl. Now let's open the oyster sauce. We'll pour that on top, cover with a plate, and shake again. That's it, done. You can serve the crab pieces on a plate. This is a super sweet and sour crab. You can sprinkle it with green onions. And now, it's definitely ready. Let's taste it. This is a very elite snack, and it clearly tastes like it. Inside we have juicy crab, a crust of flour, and a thin layer of oyster glaze on it. In general, I'm pretty delighted with this crab cake. Of all of the sea creatures like him that I've tried, whether it's lobster or shrimp or crayfish, Kamchatka crab is definitely the most delicious. Alright guys, if you want me to cook some unusual inhabitant of the ocean, then like this video, and as soon as we get 300,000 likes, we'll do just that. And if we get 500,000 likes, then we'll have a very large ocean dweller. Everything is in your hands. Write us in the comments, what do you think I'm planning to cook? See you guys soon.